critter is tougher than it looks. It's so tough, it can take on lethal predators capable of killing a human with one venomous strike. Say hello to the mongoose. Hi, mongoose. Now say hello to this king cobra, if you dare. The mongoose might seem adorable, but it's actually one of nature's craftiest assassins. Why isn't it afraid of a cobra's lethal bite? Why does it use scent to communicate? And how does it kill such a dangerous foe? At first glance, it's easy to confuse the mongoose with a weasel, but it's actually more closely related to the meerkat, like Timon from The Lion King. It's part of the Feliformia family, which means cat-like carnivore. The smallest of the mongoose family is the dwarf mongoose, measuring in at a dainty 17 to 24 centimeters with a 15 to 20 centimeter tail. The white-tailed mongoose, on the other hand, grows between 48 to 71 centimeters and can have a tail as long as 47 centimeters. You can find them scattered across Africa as well as in southern Asia and Europe. Carnivorous by nature, most mongooses prefer rodents, reptiles, and birds, but some species will also eat plants and fruit. Eggs are also a favorite mongoose food. The Malagasy narrow-striped mongoose will lay on its side facing a rock and push an egg against it to crack it open. The mongoose is not only fearless, but smart. It's the slender mongoose and gray mongoose that will boldly pursue the lethal king cobra. Mongooses will fearlessly provoke any cobras they encounter. Their speed and agility allows them to dodge a snake's attack. Once a cobra begins to tire and slow down, the mongoose performs its finishing move by chomping its skull like a potato chip. TKO, that looks like it hurt. Close to 80% of these mongoose versus cobra battles end with the mongoose as the victor. Cobras aren't tracking the stats, but they usually do whatever they can to avoid a mongoose in the first place. While a king cobra bite can easily kill an adult human in less than 30 minutes, the mongoose has no reaction to its venom. This is because it has a unique genetic mutation that doesn't recognize the venom's neurotoxins, preventing the poison from paralyzing its muscles. This allows the mongoose to survive bites and happily munch on the venomous reptile once a fight is over. But the mongoose's survival skills go beyond their ability to take down predators that most animals would never touch. Some species, like the banded mongoose, communicate using scent secreted from their anal glands. They live in small packs called mobs, and scent is how they recognize each other. Dominant males will leave their scent on each family member, which is called scent marking. This is how they know which mongooses belong to their mob and which are outsiders, who are not welcome. They're a very exclusive bunch. Gotta fill out an application and everything. The banded mongoose also makes various grunts that are used to talk with each other. These sounds have been compared to that of consonants and vowels. Anyone down to learn mongoosese? Just me? Okay. Unfortunately, some mongoose species are threatened due to deforestation caused by urbanization and farming. Air pollution and climate change are major issues too, and their love for eggs means they often raid farms, making them a nuisance to farmers who cull them. They're even threatened by poachers who eat and sell their meat or use them as a roadside attraction. Aw, poor mongoose. Get ready for a cuteness overload. Just look at how this little rascal prances through the grass. Meet the stoat. These adorable woodland creatures are found across Europe, Canada, and as far north as Alaska. What if I told you that stoats can take down prey twice their size? They're pretty much tiny death machines. Not so cute all of a sudden, huh? Since they're so small, they have to use every tool in their arsenal while hunting, which surprisingly includes dancing. The stoat jumps high in the air and twists its body all around. They pretend to ignore their prey altogether, totally focused on their entertaining show. This is not just because they're passionate performers. The stoat hopes their showmanship will enthrall potential prey. Their dance distracts and disorients prey, putting them in a hypnotic trance. Then they can catch them off guard and pounce. For the grand finale, They jump onto the back of their prey, biting them right where their neck meets their skull. Talk about dinner and a show. This technique works especially well on rabbits. They're easily dazed and confused by the theatrics, but can sometimes escape even after being bitten. I mean, most of the time they slink away and die anyway. Stoats don't have a powerful bite, and their teeth are quite small. For a mouse, death by stoat bite is instantaneous, but rabbits have thick neck muscles that are hard to penetrate. Researchers think that rabbits die of fright more than anything else. The traumatic act literally scares them to death. Stoats are not just brilliant dancers, they also have stellar senses. They can sniff out the exact route voles and mice have traveled. Did you hear that? Well, a stoat would. Their close-set ears are able to pick up high frequencies, which means they can detect even the slightest rustle in the bushes. You might think this little bundle of fur wouldn't eat much, but they often kill a surplus of food and store it away for later. In Greenland, the remains of 150 lemmings were found in one stoat hideaway. No one tell them about Costco. Stoats prefer fresh meat, but rely on their stockpile if the pickings become sparse. They are relentless hunters and will travel far and wide to track down their next meal. But hey, they aren't just vicious killing machines. The stoat's signature moves are also associated with play. In Scotland, it was observed that they continue to cut a rug even when they're not hunting. They truly dance like no one's watching, or jump like no one's watching for that matter. But their life is not just one big song and dance. Sometimes they're the ones being hunted. Eagles and hawks have an advantage because of their aerial view. Foxes also pose a threat. They sneak up on stoats and can easily overpower them. Humans, however, are their biggest predator. For centuries, their white pelts have been prized among hunters, and they are a coveted luxury item in the fashion world today. The most valuable stoats are those who live in colder climates. Their coats turn white in the winter to blend into the snowy environment. Ironically, their camouflage puts a target on their back. Fortunately, they have a secret weapon. They store musk in muscular sacs under their tail. It's a thick, oily substance that has an unpleasant smell, and that's putting it lightly. A scared stoat releases their stench, hopefully giving them enough time to run away. Some trappers refer to this defense mechanism as a stink bomb. Ugh. The stoat's agility is a family trait. Is that a shadow we see there? Or a ghost? Oh, it's a snow leopard. It had us for a moment there. No wonder it's called the ghost of the mountains. That's not the only weird thing about them, though, as snow leopards are very unique creatures. How do they camouflage themselves? And how do they not freeze at such high altitudes? Snow leopards aren't just experts at evasion to keep us from spotting them. They use their 60 km/h speed combined with stealth to catch up with their prey. Prey that is up to 3 times their own body weight, including markhor, deer, and wild sheep. Master acrobats and skilled at jumping from great heights, this speed and agility allow them to chase the prey across tough terrain. Their shorter forelimbs and longer hind limbs allow them to leap up to 15 meters, more than 6 times their body length. Their muscular chests help to absorb the shock from their long jumps and walking on the mountainous Himalayan belt along China, India, and Pakistan. These wildcats are distinguished from others in their family by the color of their coats, which can change slightly depending on the season to help keep them camouflaged. Apart from blending them into the snow, their soft, dense fur keeps them warm in the bitter cold. They can have up to 12 centimeters of fur on their bellies, which helps to insulate them against temperatures as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius. Having a tail that is almost 1 meter long is also pretty useful. It not only helps maintain balance while running, but it doubles as a scarf that keeps them warm and hidden while sleeping. Even their feet are well adapted for cold temperatures. Their massive paws act as snowshoes so they can walk without sinking. which is pretty darn impressive considering they weigh around 25 to 55 kilograms and can be up to 1.5 meters in length from head to the base of their tail. And unlike their bigger cousins, they can't roar. Their less developed vocal cords only allow them to growl and meow at a slightly louder level than domestic cats. But don't let their quiet voice fool you. These ferocious felines have already proven how dangerous they can be to other animals. Unfortunately, the snow leopard population has been in decline, and humans are more of a threat to them than they are to us. Another crazy mountainous creature is the ibex.
When she kicked our curator for the uni, the nurse actually thought his secretary had kicked him.
This is one cool and majestic-looking bird. I mean, come on, look at those eyelashes. So fancy. But don't judge a book by its cover. Secretary birds are skilled and ruthless killing machines. And just like their looks, the way they hunt is unique. By stomping and kicking their prey to death.
He's already dead.
Why do secretary birds use their legs as weapons against snakes? What other hunting tactics do they use? Why are they called secretary birds? Follow along as we kick up some dust with this bizarre bird. Secretary birds are native to Africa and live in open areas like savannas and grasslands. The tallest birds of prey in the world, these predators stand between 1.3 meters and 2 meters tall and have a wingspan up to 2.1 meters. Despite their massive wings, secretary birds are only one of 2 birds of prey species that spend the majority of their time hunting on the ground. They only take to the air when it's absolutely necessary, like to reach their nest or to escape danger. And they never miss a workout, walking an estimated 20 to 30 kilometers daily. #goals.
#rise and grind.
Their favorite meal is venomous snakes, like adders and cobras.
Yummy.
Odd choices, considering the risks. To locate their next meal, they will stamp their feet on the ground to flush out hiding prey. The tactics these birds use to attack snakes are iconic. But why do they use these unconventional methods? Since they often hunt deadly predators, they need to act swiftly to avoid being bitten. It only takes a fraction of a second for a snake to turn and bite, so secretary birds must strike hard and fast. The kicks can deliver the power of 5 to 6 times their body weight in a tenth of the time it takes a person to blink. Blink. They also come equipped with scales on their lower leg that provide protection against counterattacks. The specialized hunting tactics don't stop there. They'll raise their head crest feathers and spread their wings out as a distraction. All this to trick slithering foes to strike at these hollow feathers rather than somewhere else a little more vital. Apart from a snake-filled diet, secretary birds are not picky. They'll eat just about anything that crawls past them, completely whole. Rodents, lizards, rabbits, you name it. Because their leg movements are so quick and powerful, scientists have been studying them to help design fast-moving robot limbs and prosthetics. You're probably wondering why it's called a secretary bird. There are a couple of theories. Its scientific name is Sagittarius serpentarius.
Come again?
Sagittarius is Greek for archer, and serpentarius highlights their skill at hunting snakes. Archer of snakes, if you will. Another is their head crest feathers resembling how a 19th century lawyer's clerk would place a feather quill in their hair in the midst of writing. Monogamous, they'll do a courtship ritual when attracting a mate. The 2 lovebirds will take flight for a unique mid-air display or a dance-like routine on the ground. Who said romance is dead? They'll make a nest at the top of isolated thorny trees like the acacia. They'll reuse the nest, making it larger every year. It's here both parents will be part of the incubation period for their 2 to 3 eggs before taking on feeding duties once they're hatched. No, this oddly immobile reptile isn't looking for a belly rub. Who's a good boy? You are! It's the hognose snake, which survives in the wild by tricking every predator around it into thinking it's dead. If we were handing out awards for most over-the-top performance by a fanged animal, we'd have a definite winner here. Why is the hognose always doing impressions of a cobra? Do people really keep these things in their home? What stomach-churning extremes is it capable of to convince attackers it has passed into the great beyond? Although it can vary in appearance and size depending on where you find it across North America and central Mexico, there is always one distinct physical trait no matter where you see one. It's this upturned snout from which the hognose gets its name. When it comes to digging burrows beneath rocky earth or sand, nothing beats a built-in shovel to help with the heavy moving. But it's the above-ground theatrics, the 3 species of hognose snake, some of which can grow over a meter in length, is famous for. When cornered by a fox, raccoon, or even another snake, such as the cottonmouth, it has no problem borrowing survival tactics from other animals. First comes the impersonation portion of the defense routine. Like a cobra, it has a wide neck that can be flattened to create an ominous-looking fleshy hood. It will strike a fearsome pose, puffing itself out while hissing and faking a few aggressive moves. For a real cobra, this is a sign to its prey that they're in for some serious trouble. For the hognose, it's just posturing. Despite being equipped with fangs and venom that can immobilize prey such as lizards, rodents, and toads, a hognose attack doesn't mean instantaneous doom for its victim. Because its fangs are located near the back of its mouth, rather than a piercing bite, its prey should be more worried about being chewed on. Compared to other snakes that release deadly venom directly through their fangs, the hognose's trickles down the outside, requiring it to open wide and keep its prey in place until its milder venom can kick in. This means as far as self-defense goes, it's at a major disadvantage. Thankfully, violence isn't the answer to everything. This snake has mastered the fine art of thanatosis, or the ability to play dead. Grabbing a page from the Possum Strategy Guide for faking your own death, a belly-up approach is taken as a last resort if an aggressor isn't scared off by the initial physical performance. It's used by animals that can't rely on the traditional fight or flight blueprint, and is something the hognose has added a few, how should we say this, signature touches to. Starting with some awkward slithering on the ground, it inevitably results with a flip onto the back. With its mouth open, the tongue will make an appearance, hanging out in dramatic fashion. The hognose goes that extra step by vomiting on itself. If that weren't disturbing enough, it's not above throwing some of its own feces into the mix. To make matters worse for any would-be attacker, this feces is often laced with bufotoxin, which it's immune to thanks to the toads it eats being full of the stuff and a natural tolerance being built up. The vomit, the stench, the toxic poop. It's usually enough to send anything looking at the hognose as a meal on its way, and fast. Despite all this, hognose snakes are still kept as pets and can live up to 20 years in captivity, more than double its lifespan in the wild. Because the odds of them feeling threatened while living the terrarium life are low, odds are good their owner will never witness their snake's playing dead talents, which is quite disappointing. And hognose venom might be effective on animals, but it's almost harmless to humans, and rarely even injected if a bite does occur. It's the exact opposite for pythons, some of which are known for swallowing humans whole. Unfortunately, these snakes are still a threatened species in some areas due to habitat loss and the introduction of invasive species into their ecosystems. They're nature's greatest pretenders and aren't above smearing themselves in their own filth. That's what hognose snakes do, and that's what makes them crazy creatures.